Appreciate you guys joining in. Appreciate you guys listening. We're back for another show. We've got the one and only Ryan Dawson on the show. Ryan, thank you so much for taking your time out to join us. How are you?
I'm good. I was just in the U.S., and anytime I'm there for a while and then come back to Asia, it makes me appreciate Asia more.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. It's true. I used to always be like, Ryan's exaggerating about Japan and Korea, but it is without a doubt golden. And actually, it's a lot of Asia because I'm in Malaysia right now, and I love it a lot here as well. Obviously, I like Japan better for certain aspects, and certain aspects, obviously, I like here as well. But but obviously, it's just shows
you literally are going into the future, and that's what it feels like
when it comes to Japan and Korea, for sure.
In Malaysia, going in the future, but
exactly. With Malaysia, less so. With Malaysia, it's more that the manners, the behaviors of people, the etiquettes, the cleanliness. Those things are like really, really good. Obviously, it's not as advanced as Japan and Korea.
Yeah, the first time you sit on a Japanese toilet, you're like, yeah, they won the war.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel like that.
Speaking of wars, got another pointless war. I have to stress every time, because this today I'm probably going to get all over the map, because this is now stretched to Egypt, Libya. Like, it's not just the Gulf countries, and it's all for Israel. There was no like uranium threat or nuclear bomb or any of that crap. This is all for Israel. So was Iraq. So was Syria. Like, the U.S. is almost $40 trillion in debt now, largely due to imperial escapades on behalf of these Jewish supremacists that want to ethnically cleanse their neighbors and steal their land. And they've gotten dragged into this. Trump was so stupid. They're like, oh, yeah, we'll kill the Ayatollah. It'll all crumble. He had no plan B. It's not. It's his whole cabinet. It's all of them. Like, it's the Huckabees. It's the dispensationalist Christian weirdos and stuff. The Hegseth, the drunks. Like, they all thought this would be a great idea. And now that they're out of ammo, and there's a great new song about that, by the way. There's actually a song about Karam Shah 4. Don't know who would write such a thing. But yeah, they're out of standoff munitions and interceptors, so they're going to have their economic D-Day. I'm calling Taco on this one right now. It's not D-Day, okay? It's not. It's a stupid name. But he's threatening anybody that's cooperating with Iran. Well, Iran just threatened them back. It was like, yeah, well, you cooperate with the U.S. on these sanctions, and you will get a military response. So, guess who they're going to listen to? They're going to listen to Iran. They have to. And they're not playing. I mean, a new step happened in the last couple of weeks where even Chinese tankers were stopped by Iran. And we were thinking, what are they doing? Why are they doing this to China? Isn't that their big trading partner, their way out? That's what you would assume. Well, a buddy of mine, an Australian journalist, he is like autistic about tracking ships, which is, and I mean actually autistic about China, which is great. Sometimes you need that. And he noticed how they would fill up and swing around to Fujairah for no reason when they're supposedly full of oil. What are they doing? They're doing ship-to-ship transfers. And it didn't really make sense because oil-wise, it didn't make a dime worth of difference. But what it does is it kept the shipping industry alive in the UAE itself. They don't want to lay off all those people and things. And so Iran got wind of this, and they stopped the Chinese ships too. They are putting maximum pressure and damage on the Gulf states. Because China, I mean, it's the temporary thing. They know they can say, okay, you want a D-Day? Then not a drop of oil from us or the Gulf is going to go out. How about that? Then what you going to do? Trump's so stupid. He's alienating his allies. Like, even Canada, right? Like, America's Northern Dingleberry. He put a 50% tariff on Canada. Well, Canada is selling its goods to China now. Normally, that's too expensive to do, but, you're going to price them out of the market. They're going to the Chinese. Bravo, Trump. He's alienated South Korea. And it's really hilarious for them to say, oh, he's trying to warm up to Kim Jong-un, and remember they had a meeting in the past that not really. You think Bolton went there and sabotaged that meeting in Hanoi without Trump knowing that like that was the whole plan, like good cop, bad cop thing? He was never serious about it. The reason they're not they're greatly reducing the war games, the joint war games they do with South Korea with the North, is they don't have a carrier. And they don't have ammo. So like they can't do the games. He's trying to spin it like, oh yeah, we're going to negotiate with North Korea now. It's like, that's not why. This is the first time in probably a decade and a half where they haven't had a carrier in the Pacific. But the Lincoln, it's on its, it's about to sit down at Ford's Theater. Put it that way. They're about to have a Gerald Ford style mutiny. I do want to say this though, that Scott Ritter is correct about some of these pictures that have come out about the meals in the Lincoln is like a dirty tray with like a piece of gray ham. Where those are fake, and you can tell because of stuff that can't possibly exist. It's in the background and stuff like those are fake. But this is a tactic that the American press does. Is called inoculation. Different from when you use it in the medical sense. You can inoculate the public. But if you want to get people to reject a story, I used to call it Jonestown in it, but inoculation is a better term. What you do is you put the most stupid version of that story out first so that they see that. And then when more information on that same subject comes, they just roll their eyes and go, oh, no, I already looked at that. This is bull. So they put a bunch of fake pictures about a real event. So it doesn't mean they're not having supply problems. They are. And I know I talked to a sailor yesterday who knew people on the Boxer, knew people at Diego Garcia, which is how far down they have to go to refit some of these destroyers and things. It's definitely a real problem. It's just those photos were fake. Well, it doesn't rest on those photos. I don't care. Just because somebody put dumb stuff on Twitter doesn't mean the story isn't true. But this is what they're doing. So be careful about it. Be careful what you share. Just because it like fits your worldview doesn't mean, ooh, these are authentic. No, they're not. However, that's on purpose. Like they leak that bogus stuff intentionally so that you wouldn't look further into it. It's called inoculation. They do it all the time. And the masters of this are Alex Jones and Candace Owens. Like they just get in and give you the most kook version possible about a real story. And so, yeah, but the Lincoln's having problems. They don't have enough carriers. He's got to send a replacement. It's been there since before February, I hope it gets John Wilkes Booth. So that is the real reason they're not doing the full extended war games in South Korea. The other thing he did is he yanked the rest of the Patriots out. It's not, they 90% of the defense shield is South Korean anyway. But the fact that he's like, we're moving these out, and the way he did it, you're like, okay, we know why. You got to go protect the Israelis. Then the UAE turned around and is trying to buy South Korea's own system because they actually have missiles and they work. And the likelihood of war with North Korea is still pretty low. So South Korea will probably sell some of them to them, but we'll see. But that's all that was. But I'm telling you, though, the UAE is asking for it. And it's funny that, you yank the Patriots out. You know who they're going to go defend. The PAC-3s are like minimal. They don't have their THAAD is over. I mean, first of all, the radar has been destroyed, so you need that even if you did have munitions. But more importantly, I don't know if it's more important. Equally as important is the offensive missiles. They're not only running out of standoff munitions, they're running out of mid-range ATACMS and things like that. I mean, they brought their HIMARS down there to fire those type of things, and they blew through decades worth of missiles in days. So if this goes kinetic again, and it looks like Iran's going to quit doing this tit for tat response and actually take the initiative, the U.S. doesn't have the ability to really do much other than blow up some bridges and things. They can't get into those mountains, and they can't shoot at a safe distance. They're going to lose aircraft if they try. You kind of saw that at the tail end of the 39-40 day war, where they lost 6 or 7 aircraft and a few helicopters all in a day for a rescue mission. So, and then on top of all this, you've got some asymmetric fighting all the way out in Libya with Haftar. Like, for the audience that might not know, when Obama and Biden invaded Libya over nothing, they left. There's been a civil war there since 2011, sort of low, not like Sudan or anything, but like a low simmering civil war between more than 2 factions too. But none of the factions have gone after oil reserves throughout the entire time until now. We're pretty sure it's Iranian proxy taking out oil depots in Libya to strangle the Europeans. Because if the Bab el-Mandeb is closed and the Strait of Hormuz is closed, well, you can still get it from Northern Africa straight through the Mediterranean. But if the civil war in Libya, for some reason, they start attacking each other's oil, well, you lose that too. And it's putting more pressure on Europe. I bet they're really wishing they hadn't blown up the Nord Stream line and cut off oil from Russia and all the other stupid mistakes they did. But I kind of love watching them just walk right into it. Like they're just stepping in it. And I say, well, this is your own policies. You guys did this to yourselves. And the Germans getting rid of nuclear power. Like, yeah, I bet you wish you didn't do that too. You have to buy it from France. That's embarrassing. So you have that going on in Libya. And it's Iran. It is. No one knows. No one's taking responsibility, but come on. So they got out there. Similar things going on in Iraq too. I mean, is that PMU is not a proxy force. It is an ally. That's different. They got their own incentives and it just happens to overlap with Iran. The Saudis fired on Iraq. And your buddy Mario was like, I don't think they're going to attack the Houthi. Well, they already are. There's a civil war. Yemen is attacking the Houthi. But that's Saudi. The Saudi Arabia and Yemen are attacking the Houthi and have been for days. But it's not going well. The Houthi are inflicting. Houthis always had a great, mosquito fleet, annoying navy, but they're doing okay on the land. And that's got to be embarrassing for the Saudis. You had a huge firefight between Hezbollah and Israel, proving that, again, Israel cannot get it, just doesn't have an answer for other than, setting forest fires and shooting civilians and stuff. They just don't know what to do when they actually face an army that can do more than throw stones. And of course, they did another strike on Gaza and killed somebody and injured 2, over some kites or something. Yeah, that's not why. Whether they're kites or not, they've been attacking them every day anyway.
So we won. We won. The Supreme Court just dropped their decision.
In the 27 states that passed laws
And that, it's because there's no consequence for it. And they're still annexing territory in the West Bank. I did see where Turkey put out an arrest warrant for Netanyahu.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I'm like, okay. We used to call Erdogan a mapeaneo. It's a Native American term for the finger waver. It's when this is all you do, but you don't back it up. Mm. I love that phrase. But he's not going to do anything. They bombed his positions in Syria, as you know. Israel bombed. I mean, it was in Syria, but Syria is what? Syria is ISIS in Turkey. I mean, that's what it is today, right? And some Kurds. Mm-hmm. The Israelis bombed all the way up to Aleppo in the north. So this is different. They usually don't go that deep. Why would Israel do this? Think about this. They're completely dependent on oil, that Azerbaijani and Kazakhstan oil, which is, I believe, over 70% of their oil, comes into Haifa from the north, and it all has to pass through Turkey. Turkey could just cut that off. And I know the counter argument is, well, they get a lot of money from Israel. Yeah, they do. But what can you let's play a game. Which can you go without longer? Oil or money? You can go a few days without the money. You can go into debt, whatever. You cannot not have oil. You're going to have a Cuba type situation. But Erdogan is a pussy, and he will do nothing but wave his finger. But yeah, the arrest warrant for Bibi, that's a symbolic W, I guess. You know, that's a major country, and it's something to make his public feel like, oh, we did a thing. But if they were serious about it, like, look, you better jump on board while Iran is fighting Israel, because guess what? You're next. Don't let them do this string of pearls thing. You know, jump in. Like, you are clearly the next target after Iran. Yeah. So that's going on that side of the war. Hormuz still closed. Doesn't matter what Trump says. It's blockade. The blockade is so dumb because all it can do is further reduce trade. It doesn't open the strait. You can maybe block some Iranian ships, but you're not getting any of your own ships. And they completely have them locked down on imports. They can't get anything in unless Iran says okay. And with Iran even being willing to stand up to China, it's like they must be doing better off economically than we assume, because they're not afraid at all. They will stop those boats as well. And I guess they know China has to buy it. So, you know, what are they going to do?